All right, ladies and gentlemen, you are welcome to another great session with the presidential candidate of the fictional Common Sense People's Party. Now, we are at a time in this nation that any stakeholder who cares about this nation cannot keep quiet. There are obviously a microscopic few who are hell-bent on destroying this country, but the people on the side of good should not make it easy for them. The Presidential Election Petition Tribunal turned the Constitution upside down to uphold INEC's declaration of Tinubu. The Supreme Court upheld their ruling. We cried out, but many felt it was no longer necessary to do the appropriate thing since Tinubu was already in office. Now, the judiciary, in a space of 4 weeks after that obnoxious judgment, have descended into the worst state that it has ever been. Because since they did that and they were not challenged, they said, oh, let us go ahead. So they have become worse than this country has ever seen them be. In the light of these, many prominent Nigerians who were initially quiet or indifferent are now beginning to speak up against the judiciary, to the point that the Northern Elders Forum have expressed serious concerns over the conduct of the judiciary. Before I show you the words of these prominent Nigerians and the position of the Northern Elders Forum on the conduct of the judiciary, let me quickly show you this video where this lawyer was being interviewed and he didn't hold back at all. In the end, he said one of the realest things I have ever heard on TV concerning the Nigerian judiciary. Please watch this video to the end.
Moved from office by the courts. And of course, you are not unaware of the latest issues of governors being removed by the courts and all of those things. How does that come across to you, that after the ballots, the people's votes have counted, the judiciary is overturning them?
It is a sad, very sad situation. When you look at what is going on in the judiciary, like I said, it's a sad one. There's nothing like precedent again in our law. When I was in law school, I was taught that precedent, it is the judgment of the higher court. The judgment of the higher court by the lower court. But today in the judiciary, what we see is a different entirely. When you look at what is happening here and there, like the issue of Kado, issue of Plateau State, issue of Nasarawa State, conflict judgment everywhere. What happened to this issue of precedent? And Supreme Court is the final court is the final court. But today, Supreme Court will tell you, oh, don't eat yam in the afternoon. They will come and tell you that you can eat little. Just eat little. It's a sad moment for lawyers in this country.
But what do you think is responsible for such activity, Mr. Nejo?
Corruption. Corruption is everywhere. Let me tell you a story. A client came to me and said he needed my service, and I said, okay, this is what I'm going to take. And he told me that, don't worry, what I just want you for is just for you to go to court. I've discussed with this chief judge. I don't want to mention the chief judge now. I've discussed they're going to put the case in the one court. It's for me to just shoot. That's all. What I'm charging is no, that I should reduce my money that they has already settled. You see this kind of embarrassment when the clients will come to you and say that kind of thing to you. That I've seen the judge, you just collect your money for you to just show in the court. This is what we are facing, my brother. I had my medicine when I was talking about remuneration about it. If you would like, you pay them 50 billion. Those who want to collect money will still go ahead and collect money. It's not all of them. Yeah. They are good judges.
You heard him. And I'm glad this is coming from a lawyer. So let me see how criminals like the NBA president Yakubu Mikao will come and complain that people don't respect the judiciary. When a lawyer is telling us here that a client told him that he has already settled the chief judge. And I like the response of this lawyer to those who say judges are selling judgment because they are not well paid. He said even if you pay them 50 billion, the thieves amongst them will still remain thieves. And that is absolutely true. Now, let us look at how prominent Nigerians and groups are speaking up against the judiciary. Let's start from Kingsley Moghalu. After several months of stylishly trying to impress Tinubu, Kingsley Moghalu has finally come out to speak the truth about the judiciary and our electoral system. Look at how the papers reported it. Kano Guba judgment. Nigeria's judicial electoral systems collapsing. Kingsley Moghalu. Former Deputy Governor of Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, Kingsley Moghalu, has warned that Nigeria's judicial and electoral systems are collapsing. Moghalu stated that the development has threatening implications for Nigeria's aspirations for democracy. The statement follows the ensuing controversy over the judgment of the appeal court, which nullified the election of Governor Abba Yusuf of Kano State. A certified true copy of appeal court judgment on the Kano State governorship election, however, affirmed Yusuf as the duly elected governor. Reacting to the development, Moghalu warned that the nation's judiciary and electoral systems are collapsing. According to him, those who benefit from systemic failures are often intoxicated by their advantages. He wrote, Nigeria's judicial and electoral systems are collapsing. This has ominous implications for our aspirations for democracy. Often, those who benefit from these systemic failures are intoxicated by their advantages. But history tells us that long term, the prognosis isn't pretty. Now, that was Kingsley Moghalu saying the truth, the whole truth, for the first time in over a year. Next is the Northern Elders Forum expressing their concern over the conduct of the judiciary. Look at how the papers reported it. Northern Elders express concern over conduct of judiciary. Kaduna Northern Elders Forum (NEF) has expressed worry over the current state of affairs within the country's judiciary. NEF, in a statement yesterday by its convener, Professor Ango Abdullahi, stressed the need for the judiciary to be cautious in its actions to prevent the erosion of its integrity, public trust, and confidence. He said, the potential consequences of these actions may ultimately validate the concerns raised by retired Supreme Court Justice Datijo Muhammad in his valedictory remarks about corruption and undue compromises within the judiciary. We recognize the importance of a fair and impartial judiciary in upholding the rule of law and safeguarding democratic principles. The judiciary plays a critical role in ensuring justice, protecting citizens' rights, and preserving the credibility of the electoral process. Any action that compromises these principles undermines the very foundation of any democratic nation. Now, the pressure on the judiciary is coming from all angles. The good thing about all this is when the people finally turn against the political elites in a revolution, the world would attest to the fact that the people have the moral justification to do so. In other news, our caricature governor has come out to give unsolicited kudos to Tinubu once again. Look at how the papers reported it. Tinubu's government inherited dead economy, Charles SOLUDO. Obviously, SOLUDO is trying to absolve Tinubu of all the blame of the economic hardship in Nigeria now. He's trying to say that everything is Buhari's fault. But first of all, Tinubu told us he was the one that installed Buhari. And after Buhari performed woefully from 2015 to 2019, during the 2019 presidential election, the same Tinubu went around this country campaigning for that same Buhari. So how can a normal person attempt to exonerate Tinubu from Buhari's woeful performance? And this present level of hardship in Nigeria now is caused by subsidy removal and the floating of the naira. These are two policies that Tinubu brought himself. So why do you want to blame Buhari for them? Nigerians weren't having it, so they took to the comment section and they blasted SOLUDO. Look at some of the reactions. This tweet by More Life says, a professor giving excuses for bad leadership. Very pathetic. This tweet by Naija Musin says, Storytelling has started. Is it not Tinubu that installed Buhari and enabled the stealing? I wonder. Oh. And this tweet right here says, will you keep quiet already? Same storyline Buhari used for 8 years. Now again, PO has said they should show in facts and figures how bad it is, not just talking. You people have finally concluded Nigerians are so docile. They accept everything. And this tweet by George says, was Tinubu not part and parcel of Buhari's government? Are they not partners in crime anymore? Are you aware that Tinubu appointed so many of the people that worked with Buhari? Tell am o. And this tweet by Ben Rula says, this twerking will not get you re-elected, however much you choose to do it. And Kingsley right here says, the moral compass of these politicians seems to be severely misaligned. And this lack of conscience has permeated even the highest echelons of power, as evidenced by your own actions, Professor. Excuses won't help you, neither will sliding in. Oh, and Kingsley here says, APC government inherited a dead economy from APC. These guys are shameless, very, very shameless. Anyway, make I leave am here. Make I still enter town. Make I go get some ogbonge political news wey una go like. Why? Because of una, now I dey here. So don't go away.